Welcome back to the Unintangibles Fantasy Football Show. It is Wednesday night on the eve of Week 4. I am your co-host, Jeff Schuella. I'm welcoming in Mo Aurora. Good evening, Mo.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? We have a guest today.
We do have a guest. We have a guest from our league, the league that we share, Mo and I. It's our 5th year in the league, and I am very, very happy to bring on an avid fantasy football player and a person I've actually never met in the 5 years. Mo has never met him either, but it's Corey Wawalski. Am I pronouncing your name right, Corey?
Yeah, that's fine. Wawalski's good.
Wawalski. So Corey knows his stuff. He's, like I said, avid fantasy football player. Unfortunately, Corey and I, the defending champion last year, we're both started 0-3. And I know that Corey has a stacked team. He's had a probably an unluckier start than me because Corey actually puts up points.
Yeah, so Jeff has had an unfortunate start to his season, but there are reasons for that, right? He has Le'Veon Bell as one of his keepers. That has obviously hurt him so far. He's got other guys, Russell Wilson, Kareem Hunt, good players. They're just not, doing what you think they could do. You can look at Jeff's roster and see why he's 0-3. It's like, that's too bad, but like, I get it. Yeah. Corey's got a really good team. And it feels like, and the stats kind of bear it out, it's almost as if Corey's been the second leading scorer in the league all 3 weeks and managed to run into the leading scorer each time. It's been tough. Corey, how are you taking it? How do you feel right now at 0-3, despite the good roster that you put together?
Yeah, I think you sum it up pretty. I don't think it's true, but it does feel like every week I'm running into the week high score for that given week, and so it's tough. It's hard not to hit the panic button and change things around on the team, and but I don't know. It's just got to stay a little bit patient. I have guys like Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Juju Smith-Schuster. They're all producing. I think I'm just one running back away from putting my team over the edge and getting into the win column.
Yeah, I mean, looking at your roster here, I mean, you're stacked, man. You definitely paid the price last year, and so you definitely had. Did you have 2 first-round picks in 3 seconds? I don't remember, but you were stacked in the first 3 rounds.
Something like that, yeah. 2 first, 3 seconds, and I think 2 thirds. I gave you a third right before the draft.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, like I've been playing fantasy 15 years. I know you've definitely been playing a long time as well, Mo. I mean, I can't believe you're actually 0-3. I'm just looking at your team. So you got Tom Brady, who hasn't really started that great, but Kenyon Drake, Peyton Barber. Yeah, I guess you are the one running back. Joe Mixon hasn't helped you yet, although I think he will. And then, like you said, your receivers, he's stacked. I mean, Antonio Brown, Juju, you got the Pittsburgh guys, Mike Evans and Travis Kelce at tight end. And you have some sexy IDP players too. So, I mean, this is a pretty stacked team with a pretty intelligent bench. I actually can't believe you're 0-3.
So if I could just say, you know how in every league you have 1 or 2 people in that league that you just sort of generally talk fantasy football with. You talk about trades, you ask, all that stuff, right? So in this league, Jeff and Corey are the 2 guys that I talk fantasy football with the most. And it's kind of interesting when around the time that Jeff and I were putting this show together and talking a lot of our own personal fantasy football, and then we're in like the preseason roster deadlines and stuff. And then all of a sudden at one point, Jeff and Corey, I'm talking to both of them separately about trade ideas in general. And then suddenly they're both asking me about a trade with each other. And at some point I'm like, what do I do here? Who am I loyal to because we have a show? Am I impartial because the show has nothing to do with the league? Am I like, is there any way I can benefit from this knowledge? And I gotta say, I had to recuse myself, and whatever deal was on the table did not end up happening. But who knows? Maybe my interference is what caused you both to be 0-3.
No. The deal did still happen. I just got the lesser of the 2 players at the time.
Oh, yes, that's what it was.
Jeff chose to give me Mike Evans instead of Keenan Allen, which I think looking back at it, Mike Evans seems to be doing a little bit better than Keenan Allen. So definitely. I think that worked out. That actually worked out pretty well.
That's interesting. At the time, you thought you were making a concession.
Yeah, exactly. So it worked out. I mean, and that's the nature of the game, right? I think it's easy to actually be impartial and give opinions without really swaying someone in either direction. So, and agreed with both of you. I mean, we've talked fantasy football for years now, so it's always nice to bounce ideas off people, so you're not just kind of trapped in your own head sometimes.
May I just say that I'm actually the Mike Evans guy of the three of us, because Mo kind of talked me out of Mike Evans in the off season. And
I'll admit to being wrong about Mike Evans. I'll say that.
I should have stuck with my guns on that one. But Corey, do you see hope? I mean, 0-3 is tough. I should say we play in a 12-team standard league. Keeping the faith, I think, is your only option right now because your team is solid. What are your thoughts coming into week 4? I mean, obviously we're both in must-win situations here.
Yeah, I think coming into the week, honestly, it's been dark times. I thought about trading Antonio Brown for a running back. Having him and Juju, you kind of have all your eggs in the same basket. So it wouldn't be so bad to get rid of one of them. Juju's kind of the up and comer. Antonio Brown's kind of the bigger name, so I might get more for him. But yeah, I don't know. I just saw today that Giovanni Bernard is hurt too. So looks like I might have to start Peyton Barber and Kenny Drake. So I don't know what's going to happen there.
Man, it's bad luck hitting you, right? So I'm gonna basically that's the same question as Jeff, but from a slightly different angle. So
let me just preface this. Sorry, Mo is 3-0 in our league. He's the only undefeated team left. So go.
Look, I'm trying not to get too ahead of myself here. It's been a good start, and people that I took chances on, whatever, it's fine, man. Like it'll turn back around. It'll all even out. I've done as well as I've done, and right now I'm just 3-0. It's like winning a big hand in poker. You're not actually up that much because you sit around for a while, you'll lose a lot of it, right? But so my impression of being in a league with Corey is that the thing that makes Corey good is just how active you are, right? You're constantly looking to trade. You're constantly looking to just accumulate that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but the way I see it is you're constantly doing something. And in the process, it's like that one red paperclip kind of thing. You're just always accumulating value, whether it's micro trades to get a little bit better position or trading a guy for a draft, collecting an extra draft pick. So I assume I'm getting ready to see Corey active his way out of this mess, but I'm curious if you have an idea of what exactly it's going to be, because you've just told us the ideas that you had that aren't going to pan out. But is there a general strategy, independent of your actual players that you have? Do you have a philosophy?
I think the general strategy is really to unload one of my top 3 receivers because I don't see myself sitting them any week. And I have guys like Alshon Jeffrey who could come back and Calvin Ridley on the bench who just kind of are sitting there rotting. So it's not really doing me any good. So rather than trade a bench guy for another mediocre running back, which I don't really need, I think the move is really to unload a stud wide receiver for a stud running back. And then hopefully just my team performs better across the board and rather than just rely on my wide receivers. Yeah. That's probably the go-to.
I will say, because Corey was saying, he's 0-3, and I feel now that I'm 0-3, not that I'm fully panicking, but I find myself doing a dumb trade just because making a panic move, things I wouldn't traditionally do as a fantasy player. I mean, I don't know if you've spoken to Carl, the David Johnson owner. I offered him Le'Veon Bell, and he was willing to make the trade straight up a few days ago. Now he's not. So.
Carl's another great potential guest for the show.
Yeah, I think we should see Carl on too.
Yeah.
Reports are that I saw a report today that Le'Veon Bell could head to Green Bay, so that could be interesting.
That's exactly why Carl is an avid Packers fan, so that's the only reason he'd consider him. My only ray of sunshine in my situation looks like Sony Michel is the man right now in New England because Burkhead is on IR, so I may have a running back there. Who's your real NFL team there, Corey? Who's your team?
Colts fan.
You're Colts.
So it's just better than expected, but still a couple of years away, I think.
I was going to say, because I'm impressed. Obviously, everyone's impressed with Darius Leonard, and the defense seems very impressive this year. Are you caught off guard by their D?
Definitely. I think it's been a pleasant surprise. We've been going after corners in the draft for the past couple of years now, so it's nice to see an actual front seven guy get into the spotlight, kind of come under the radar and perform well.
And what are your thoughts on Andrew Luck right now?
He's easing back in there. It's after a year off football. It's been tough, but I think we need to protect him better. You never know what can happen, especially now with all the league rules there for the quarterback, which I'm sure you guys will probably talk about later on your show if you haven't already. But Yeah, there's still some building blocks that we need.
Yeah. So Corey, as a fantasy player and as a Colts fan, who I'm certain has paid more attention to the individual Colts players than I have, how do you feel about this backfield? How do you think it's going to shake out? Wilkins, Hines, Mack, what's going on?
Well, in one league I drafted Hines thinking he might be the guy, but Wilkins just seems to be has the more stature of an every down running back, more so than a Hines.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like a Jay Ajayi, Darren Sproles kind of situation. If I had to bet, I'd probably bet on Wilkins. But, I mean, you never know. With Luck throwing the ball as often as he does, Hines could easily have the bigger game more often. So it's tough.
Nice.
Yeah, I think so too. Because so this came up earlier too, and when Jeff, you were mentioning making panic trades and stuff like that, and you guys are just talking about what to do right now. Is one thing I've been trying to do as the season goes on is, any player that's out there that's doing better or worse than I may have thought coming into the season, I kind of try to keep asking myself, David Johnson, is David Johnson ultimately closer to what I thought of him before the season, or is he closer to what he's done so far? And that's something I try to weigh out. And it's I've said a couple times on the show now, maybe he doesn't end up being RB3, ends up being RB9 or something like that, right? But I still think he's good. And I think that David Johnson owners are in a position to panic, but ask yourself, really, how do you actually feel about this player? And don't listen to me based on what I say 3 versus 9, but this is the way I think people need to think about these things, because things change so fast, but then they always end up sort of equalizing right back to where they are, right? Am I wrong in thinking that? But
no, I agree. I think one of the biggest things, and I think we've talked about it before too, even Mo, is skill versus opportunity. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times in the NFL, defenses are just so good at game planning to eliminate a guy from the game unless his athletic ability or his talent is just too much so that he overcomes that. Mm-hmm. And I think David Johnson is just in a situation where his athletic ability might not be enough to overcome all the extra guys in the box because of how bad Arizona's QB situation has been. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think you need kind of a good balance between somebody who has the talent and someone who's in a good situation who may not take all of the attention from the defense.
So, okay, in regards to that then, so David Johnson's situation is bad enough that even David Johnson can't overcome it, right? Are we saying that David Johnson is a notch below the guys like Gurley and Zeke or whoever, and Kamara, or can David Johnson be better than he has been? I think he might. He's coming off a long time off of football too, right?
Yeah, I think the offense needs to just generally be better. I mean, take a look at Todd Gurley, his rookie season versus his sophomore season. He had a rough rookie season because the offense wasn't good. You start to give Goff a little bit more experience. Put a little bit more receivers around him, and sure enough, the defense has to look at more than just Gurley, and Gurley can excel too. Mm-hmm. So I think until Arizona's offense gets a little bit better, I think Johnson will be restricted.
Yeah. By the time the season ends, I think we'll all have realized that Arizona's offense just didn't run enough plays this year. The volume is just going to be down. I think that's what it comes to personally.
Yeah, but game by game though, even if they're still a bad team, but at least now with Rosen coming in there, I'm not saying that Rosen is better than Bradford now, but there's more room to imagine Rosen getting better over the course of the season, where there wouldn't have been that with Bradford. If Bradford lasted all year, this team would have been like this all year, pretty much, right? Yeah. But there's some room for growth just with better quarterback play. There's room for growth with DJ getting back into a rhythm on his own, but then all those things feeding into each other. Christian Kirk getting a little bit more experience, getting a little bit more confidence. Larry Fitzgerald getting healthy. I could honestly see Arizona making a second half surge.
I don't.
Okay. Yeah. Well, in that case, you should be trading DJ in one league and not acquiring him in another.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I know Corey probably only has another minute or two. I just wanted to, looking at your roster, just speaking as the commissioner, I realized that you have a guy in the IR spot who's not on the IR anymore. So you might have to make a move, although other teams have been guilty of this in the past, knowingly and unknowingly.
Yeah, I think with the injury designations tend to change all week, and as soon as they get that out designation on Sunday, they go back onto the IR. So we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, just looking at it, and Joe Mixon is currently out. in the IR spot. So it's okay. Hey, okay, guys.
It's working, yeah.
Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about fantasy-wise this year, Corey? I know your time is limited here, so.
No. I really appreciate you guys having me out on the show. It's fun to actually talk in person instead of over message. But and Mo, if you ever want to get rid of one of those Saints for Antonio, maybe we can talk.
Yeah.
Little Alvin Kamara for Antonio action. That
Wow. I don't know, man. I don't know. Kamara might be pretty untouchable right now. We'll see. But
that's a big offer right there. Those are two high-powered players.
I'll have to decide if I'm selling high on Kamara or if I'm just giving away the greatest force of nature in fantasy football. I don't know.
Yeah, just ride the wave. I don't know. If I think you go as the Saints go, so we'll see.
I think so. I think for now. I don't have quite as much promise on my bench behind me, although I do think I'm pretty deep at flex for what that's worth. And let me ask you this, actually. Kerryon Johnson. Did I just find a $20 bill in my pocket or what? Or should I not get carried away?
No, I think so. I think even preseason, I think the consensus was that he was the most talented back in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, LeGarrette Blount can be effective, but I think he's proven over his career to be kind of a specialty back. Kerryon Johnson seems just more of that all-around three-down back that Detroit's been needing. So, no, I definitely think you have a nice little insurance in case you want to trade one of those stud running backs.
That might happen in the other direction, though. It might be if Kerryon, makes me think that I can roll with him, then that might make one of those other guys available. But we'll see. It's still early. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, long season.
You found the 20, Mo. You found the 20 in your pocket for sure.
I mean, I am very capable of wasting a $20 bill, though, man.
Well, I just want to thank Corey for coming on. Pleasure meeting you for the first time, and I do wish you and myself better luck here for the rest of the season. And I'd love to have you back on maybe later in the year, and hopefully we'll be fighting for playoff spots.
Yeah, thank you, Corey. Great job.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, Jeff, hopefully things turn around quickly.
Thanks a lot, my man. We'll be being
Take care, guys.
Take care. That's Corey Wawowski, Mr. 0-3. I'm also 0-3. Mo, thoughts?
I do hope both of your luck turns around, but hopefully it doesn't come out of my excess luck jar that I have right now. So I think, I want things to even out because I think I want like you guys are the guys that I want to like run into in the playoffs and stuff, So just you got to get there.
Any final thoughts, Mo? I mean, we're heading into week 4 right now. I mean, I got nothing to say at this point.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Okay, but I think the thing that I want to say is whatever everyone's saying, with all the collective wisdom that you read out there about any given player, whatever the people that are defending the player have to say, whatever the people that are trashing them have to say, try to just split the difference and start from there. What is the halfway point of like either side of an argument that you're weighing in your own mind? Just try to find the middle of it first, and then by thinking your own thoughts about it, trusting your own judgment, you'll sway one side or another and figure out what you want to do. But like just as a way of organizing your own thoughts about it, because you get being pulled in so many different directions, try to just find the middle ground and start from there. That's my advice.
Yeah, I agree. Don't overthink it, but it would help if Amari Cooper had a pulse.
I mean, hey, look, man, you made that choice when you picked Amari Cooper.
Yeah, never owned him before, so now I'm
it's tough, man. It's tough.
But you want to take us out, Mo?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Thank you for joining us once again on The Unintangibles. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back again on Monday. Hope to see you then.